was the liaison between the Black Panther Party and the OAAU. At the same time, I was Malcolm's sister's bodyguard. So I was in constant contact with Tupac Shakur, who was the head of the Black Panther Party in Harlem. His brother Zaid Shakur, the husband of Assata Shakur, was the head of Black Panther Party in the Bronx. Zaid and I was much closer, because we were close in age. Matula Shakur, the youngest brother, the purported leader of the Black Liberation Army, who was at Lincoln Hospital running a detox program using acupuncture for brothers and sisters who was hooked on heroin. So that was the world I was in, and this is the time of the formation of the Black Panther Party, the Black Liberation Army. I was a part of the group that opened the first breakfast program for the Black Panther Party in New York City, and I opened the second breakfast program on 125th Street for the OAU. I've met so many kings and so many queens. Benny Shakur. You know, Tupac was a very good friend of my kids. And it was one of my children that he was very fond of, who was very fond of him. I didn't actually like Tupac very much in the beginning, even though I know his mom and know his dad, everything. But he was a good guy. And he did, you know, like I said, very close to my kids. The day before he was killed, he called and wanted to set up a meeting with me when he got back to New York the next week. He called from Vegas. The meeting was about him. He was telling me that him and Biggie was really not fighting each other. That this was the magazines, this was the news people, this was their enemy that has created this whole thing. And the main reason that it was being pushed so hard is because Tupac, he said him and Biggie had got together and they'd come up with a way to take over distribution of rap music. And I told him then, I says, you know, that can get you killed. You're dealing with this Mafia and the Mafia, both. And he said, we know, we understand, but I told him, you and Biggie can't pull this off by yourself. And he said, no, we're meeting with other rappers, and we have a lot of other rappers on board. And he said, so Professor Small, when I get back in New York next week, I'm gonna be at the fight tomorrow night. Get back in New York next week, I'm coming up to the house, we're gonna talk. And I said, cool. And I handed the phone back to my daughter. And we would hear the next day that he was shot to death, you know, after that fight. But he was very clear. And it didn't end with Tupac. Right after Tupac got shot, you remember there was 2 rappers that got killed in Jersey also. They were part of the group with him and Biggie. Then of course Biggie would be killed later. But this all had to do with distribution.
This is Professor James Small, a highly respected scholar, liberation fighter, and elder of the Black Liberation Movement. He is one of the most credible voices in the African American community, and when it comes to the Tupac story, he is an absolute library of knowledge.
I talked to Brother Tupac, the youngster, 2 days before he was killed.
Professor Smalls recounts the chilling phone call with Tupac the night before his murder. Tupac was planning to meet with the professor soon, but tragically, he would be gunned down first. Tupac's murder sent shockwaves through the rap community. As the professor notes, he was not the only one. 2 other rappers associated with his crew were also killed around this time in New Jersey. Biggie Smalls, another major figure, would be assassinated as well. These deaths were likely part of the escalating coastal rap feud. Professor Smalls said the whole East Coast-West Coast beef was fake. Historically, what hip-hop is supposed to be about is peace, unity, love, and having fun. However, infiltrators in the music biz changed that. It just got so far away from the original message of liberation and unity.
I talked to Brother Tupac, the youngster, 2 days before he was killed. The rift between me and Biggie, that ain't real. He said, they creating that. But here's the next thing he said to me. He said, Prof, what me and Biggie want to do is take control of distribution of rap music. I said, oh boy, do you know what you're going up against? Do you understand the organized criminal networks you're going up against and the 2 major ethnic groups that run it? He said, yeah, we do. I said, well, you and Biggie can't do no shit like this. He said, we're not alone. We are organizing other young rappers. And he was dead within 48 hours of that conversation I had with him. You heard Michael Jackson calling some people out. He was trying to tell you. Sam Cooke was calling him out before Sam was murdered. He was trying to tell us way back then, 1964. But we haven't been listening because we didn't have enough people in this thing to really see. But history will erase the mystery. But history will erase the mystery.
This bombshell interview reveals Tupac's plans to challenge the entrenched powers controlling hip-hop's distribution. It connects his death to a pattern of industry exploitation and control. Tupac was not alone in recognizing this injustice. For too long, voices of truth have been silenced. It's time to break the cycle and share their message. Tupac's murder remains unsolved. Who ordered the hit and why? Was it tied to his plans to disrupt the status quo of the music industry? Numerous theories swirl, but the truth stays buried. While the mystery endures, Tupac's legacy lives on. Through his captivating music and poetry, he gave voice to the struggle of young Black Americans coming of age in the 1990s. Though gone too soon, his impact continues to inspire new generations. The themes in Tupac's songs, poverty, police brutality, incarceration, still ring true today. His calls for justice and equality remain unfulfilled. The lives of young Black men are still cut tragically short, not by bullets but by systemic racism and oppression. Tupac's memory challenges us to carry on his fight. Though the deck remains stacked and progress comes slow, we cannot surrender to cynicism. Tupac's hope for a better future motivates our ongoing journey toward justice. Guided by his light, we step forward. Subscribe to the channel for more melanin-rich content. May peace, discernment, and justice guide our path. Thank you.